So we are 2 legislative days away from the Affordable Care Act tax credits expiring, when millions of people will see their healthcare premiums skyrocket. And GOP leadership, with that deadline fast approaching, has decided to schedule 2 votes on anti-trans bills and precisely 0 votes on extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits. They would rather have us focus in and debate a misunderstood and vulnerable 1% of the population instead of focusing in on the fact that they are raiding everyone's healthcare in order to pay for tax breaks for the wealthiest 1%. All Republican politicians care about is making the rich richer and attacking trans people. They are obsessed with trans people. I actually think they think more about trans people than trans people think about trans people. They are consumed with this, and they are extreme on it. They are bringing forward a bill that would put parents and providers at risk of being jailed, literally jailed, for affirming their transgender child and following medical best practices. It is already hard enough to raise a family today. It is already hard enough to be a kid today. And families with transgender young people are navigating complicated and complex situations, making deeply personal healthcare decisions. And regardless of what decision you might make as a parent, government should never insert itself into the personal healthcare decisions of patients, parents, and providers. That is a basic principle and a basic right that should be afforded to all Americans, including transgender people and their families. Look, millions of people across this country are entering into this conversation with understandable questions, with goodwill, good intentions, and in good faith. But Republican politicians are not. They are trying to use transgender people as political pawns in this moment. They are trying to politicize a misunderstood community and misunderstood care. No one's healthcare should be politicized. Every area of care should have strong safeguards, should have strong standards of care. But those should be drafted by healthcare professionals in medical associations informed by data, research, and science. Not politicians in Washington whose medical knowledge includes thinking that vaccines are the equivalent of the Holocaust. I get it's hard to understand what it feels like to be trans. I get that it is hard to understand what it feels like to be me. I get that it's hard to understand this care and understand the need for it. But one of the things that gets so lost in this conversation is that the transgender adults of today were kids once. I was a kid once. I didn't have the courage to come out until I was 21. But it's a fact I have known about myself for my entire life. I didn't have the courage to come out until I was 21, and that means 21 years of pain. 21 years of unwavering homesickness that only went away when I was able to get the care that I needed. And my biggest regret in life is that I never had a childhood without that pain. I marvel at the courage of transgender young people today who are sharing themselves with their families and this world, despite the toxicity and the hate that too often emanates from the building behind me and from politicians within it. All any of us want is to live a life of purpose and happiness and wholeness. None of us know how long we have. None of us know how much time we have on this planet. It is already hard enough to raise a family. It is already hard enough to be a kid, and government should not make it harder.